Alright, hello everyone. Welcome to my tutorial regarding on how to make custom maps for Toaster Arena using Unreal Engine. This tutorial doesn't use an SDK, like it's not dependent on an SDK. You don't need an SDK to make a map for the game. However, you do have limited functionality. I guess this could be meant as a new-ish tutorial on how to set up everything and how to make your first map mod for the game. Before we start, there's a few things to mention. Since this doesn't use an SDK, there is limited functionality on the types of maps that you can do, or at least event-wise. Most of the maps will just consist of geometry and custom stuff that you add. Basically, there isn't any templates or any starting grounds. You're basically starting from scratch. Right now, the game doesn't have an SDK. However, there is future plans to include one, or at least make something of a lightweight SDK that has the basics for custom content. Before we start this video, make sure you have the following. First off is the necessary files to convert the mod into a pack file that the game can load. This is called ta_pack_maker_template. If you open it up using WinRAR, you have a couple of things here. Real unpack, compression, you see some readmes and files. This can be obtained from the Toaster Arena project repository, which is open on GitHub. Or if you are in the server, you can get it from this link here. I'll link this up in the YouTube video as well. Once that's downloaded, you'll end up with this. You can extract this into a folder because you're going to be using those tools a lot. In my case, I have it on my games folder, Toaster Mod Test, and then I have it right here, ta_pack_maker template. Basically, I'm just going to delete that. What you can do is just those files, put it there. The best way to test if the mods work is to have a copy of the game somewhere else, so that way you don't break anything regarding the Steam version. For me, in my case, I have a copy of TA in another folder, which works pretty well. In that case, and this, just to be fully sure, I'm gonna recopy everything into that folder again, just to make sure that everything is up to date. And once that's done, we can move on. In the meantime, make sure that you have Unreal Engine version 5.2 installed. That's the one that the game uses, and it's the one you're going to be using for maps. 5.2.1, that's the one we're using. Not 3, not 1, it has to be 2. Make sure you're using that version. Make sure you have it installed and you're able to run it on your computer. So we have a thing there. This is our copy of the game. And next up, once you have launched Unreal Engine, you want to make an empty project. Make sure it is an empty project because any of the other templates will not work with the game. We are making a custom map after all. We're not making a custom game. It doesn't work like that. So choose blank. Target platform desktop. Quality scalable. We don't need the starter content. You don't need ray tracing. Choose your install location. And then the name. For this case, I'll call it ta_mod_making. And when that's done, we hit create, and that's gonna create our project. Depending on how fast your computer is, this may take a bit. Maybe faster, maybe slower. In my case, I'll just cut the video. Alright, it looks like it already loaded for me. Once it loads for you, this is how an empty level or the template empty level is going to look like. You have a bit of terrain and some areas that you can explore around. Quite basic, if you ask me. You can use this for your map, or you can make a custom one. Before we start making anything, we gotta make sure the folder structure is actually matches the one that the game uses. The way Toaster Arena works, as long as the map is in a specific folder, the game will recognize it as a custom level, and it'll let you load it, and it will let others vote for it on the voting console. So to do that is quite simple. Just here's the file folder structure for the project. Inside content, you want to make another folder called multiplayer _ maps. Make sure that there isn't any typos, like mine. And just to double check, or check with games directory and check if it actually matches. So make sure, oh, my bad. So you need a maps folder, and then you need the multiplayer maps. Yep, funny little accident here. So maps, uppercase M, and then just that folder goes there. Just making sure that the name is actually the same. Take that, copy, and then take that, paste. Now, as you can see, this is the folder structure that the game requires in order to recognize any custom maps that the game has. And now we go into the fun part. We want to make a level. Depending on your experience, you can do whatever you want here, but for this video, I'm gonna do a basic level just to show what we can do. So the SDK is a bit limited on what we have right now. This is just a bare bones project. So we don't have as much freedom on like rules that we can impose on the map. However, we can do geometry, we can place player spawns and item spawns using a vanilla version of the engine. So first of all, we do naming here. We want to name this LVL for level, and then call this my epic map. We save, and then we double click to open it. This isn't a map making tutorial, but at least I'll mention the things that I'm doing as they go. So right now the whole scene is darkness, so we need some lights. One thing you can do is go into Windows and click on Environment Light Mixer. It's probably disabled by default, or if it isn't, then power to us. So we'll click on that, click on these buttons, each one. You can see that the scene starts taking shape. This is pretty much the template lights you can use for any level. It's a good starting point. You obviously want to click Save File, so we can save any progress that we've done. Whenever you do anything to the map, I always recommend you save in case, so that way you don't lose anything. So right now we have a world, but it's empty. There's nothing. It's just clouds and skylights. So what we can do is add a cube. We can add a cube, or we can add a geometry. This is BSP. For this video tutorial, I'll use a simple cube. And then let's put this at origin, so it's 0, 0, 0. And let's just, actually, let's do BSP, since it's easier to explain how it works. So we just put this at the center, and we scale it up a bit, so we have some floor. Might as well scale it up in the Z-axis, so we have some kind of volume here. Let's set this to hollow, so that it's concave, and it actually has like an inside. And let's add some windows to this. So Control-C, Control-V to copy and paste. On mark as hollow. Scale this up, down. Scale it. Let's put some windows here. And set the brush type to subtractive. That's gonna remove geometry from this cube. Let's do that. Let's do that here. Let's do that here as well, and maybe here too. And let's add a ceiling as well, because it looks a bit sad. It's better if we have a ceiling so we can have the sun shine upon us. Alright, so that looks decent. You may notice that the shadows are a bit darker. That's fine. We can set it to stationary. And same for the directional light as well. Next up, we want to put a player start. So if we click here on basic, you see something called a player start. This is what Toaster Arena uses to spawn characters. Basically, you would just put them across the map and it would just work. These aren't compatible with teams. So if you want to have red team, blue team, and green team, you would need to do a different approach, which I'll cover soon. For now, let's get this basic map to work. Right now, this already should technically work. However, it's missing one key component, and that is the navigational mesh. Navigational meshes pretty much allow NPC characters or bots to roam around the map and interact with the world and other players. To add that, simply we go into the volume section and we scroll down until we find the nav mesh bounds volume. You want to drag this into the map and press R to scale it up until it covers the whole play zone. Make sure it's bigger than the actual play zone. We can press P to preview the navigation area. Green pretty much means where the AI can walk. Right now the AI won't be able to jump to that zone, but that's another subject we'll touch later. Right now we have everything that's needed in order to make this map run in game without any issues whatsoever. But let's actually add some objects to this. Let's say we want to play this level on Capture the Flag, right? So right here I have this document. It's spawn reference tags. This one is important as it's used for objects that the game may have, or at least a custom map may have. Since we're not using an SDK, this is the only way to actually spawn stuff in the game. So the way it works is quite simple. Let's say we want to have a blue flag. So what we can do is we type here target, and we see this point, we drag it into the world. And this is going to work as a spawner. So always make sure you rename your stuff. So CTF_blue. And now the important part, you click on the target object and you type tags. See this thing here at the bottom? It says actor tags. You click the plus icon and then you paste in that string. And this will make it so that whenever the game starts, the game will fetch any actors that contain this tag and it'll put a flag there. And that's how you can spawn objects without needing an SDK. So we want to do one for red as well. So info flag red tag, Control V to paste. And now we have red and blue. Another thing we need is this one, info_spec. This makes a spectator camera for the players so that they can overview the map. I'm gonna quickly rename this to red flag, copy. Let's move it to the top. Keep in mind, these are not needed to have a playable map. However, if you want your map to be able to play your map in certain modes, then you definitely need something like this. It'll make the experience better and actually playable. So just go here, select, copy, and then paste. And let's put some blue spawns for players. Same as before. Get a target point, tag, oops, and then blue. Just duplicate this around. So spawn underscore blue. And then spawn underscore blue. And we just want to copy these around. So we have an area for blue players to spawn. And now let's do the same for red. Let's just put red right here. Make sure they are facing the proper way. That's important as well. You can use the blue arrow to determine where they're facing. So we want to do the same thing here, but for red. So info p underscore red is red player spawn. And spawn underscore red. Let's put a couple here. Yeah. Let's see what else we need. These are for weapon pads. We can have, this is how you spawn weapons for the arena game mode. Power-ups isn't supported yet, but this list will get updated eventually. Let's see, we can use, let's put some revolvers here in case someone plays this on arena. So pick up revolver. It disappeared. So let's put that one there. Where did it go? Right here. Info underscore pad revolver. And let's just put a couple. Like one here, and another one here, and another one there, and another one there. Everyone gets a revolver. Next up, we want to maybe add a bit of obstacles so that players don't instantly snipe each other. Let's add some walls among the level. So let's put one here, another one here, maybe one here, another one here. Look at that. Okay, so right now we have everything needed to actually have a playable state. We could do an extra one. We could have the corruption spawns. Let's put this up high or very high. Oops, wrong thing. So this corruption is basically for the zombies game mode. It's used for that. So we're gonna put these at the... Oh, wrong. I copied the wrong thing. Make sure you copy the proper tag, because then you're gonna be wondering why it's not working on the engine or in-game. Let's put a couple of zombies here. Oop, where are you going? Alright. So basically we have everything that we need in order to make this playable. We're missing kill zone volumes, however that's something for later as there isn't proper support for that yet. But it is getting there. So another thing we need is blocking volumes. Blocking volumes, think about them like invisible walls. Basically you can make, we want to make the windows here solid so that players can't jump off of them. Set it to the top perspective so we can actually see. Just align this closely enough. Mostly eyeballing it. And it should be fine. Alright. We may want to duplicate these and put them on the other side as well. Make sure the whole level is encapsulated. So now, I truly believe that we have everything we need for a proper map. So you can see here, I committed the rookie mistake of not naming my stuff properly. So make sure you always name your stuff properly. Zombie. Alright, so we have everything we need. We could change the lighting a bit. I think it's on Control L, yeah. Control L, and you can move your cursor around to change how the lighting affects the environment. Let's see, let's get a bit of Okay, so we can see the shadows windows, the window shadows. Yeah, that's good. Alright, we have our map done. We have all the objects that we need in order to make this playable. We have capture the flag spawns. We could add support for others as well. That's up to your map as well. And next up is to actually place something important that I forgot to mention. It's called sphere reflections. These are basically cube maps that the game uses for its reflections. These are important because a lot of the assets for Toaster Arena are quite metallic and rely on reflections a lot. So make sure you place them along your map. You can have a lot of them, you can have small numbers of them. Make sure they're evenly distributed. I'm just doing quite a lazy job here. Just to not make the video long. Move these around. Alright. I think now we can save again. You can add a post-process volume if you want to tweak what the map looks visually. That's really up to you. Now we gotta move into baking. Once you have everything set up, you can just hit here, build all levels, and it's gonna build the lighting into the level, and that's gonna make it run more faster on your computer. Depending on the complexity of your level, this may take longer than usual. Alright, so now lighting's built, and this is our map. Next up, we want to move into actual cooking, which is the next step. Cooking, basically we take our assets and we cook them so that the engine can actually run them. So to do that, you want to click here on Platforms, Windows, Cook Content. And it's going to show this little window here. If you click on Logs, it's going to show the actual process of cooking. This, on your first time, whenever you run this on your first time, it will take a while. Could be maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depends on your computer and where the project is stored. So I'll most likely cut the video again and resume once this has finished. Alright, so it looks like it actually finished. This took... was this an hour? 10, 11 minutes? I'm not sure. It took this amount of seconds, so it was quite a lot. Holy shit. I watched so many videos. Okay. Am I recording? Yes, I am. Good. Now we can... okay. So once the cooking command finishes, it'll give you like it'll say build successful. So now we want to go into the location that your project is located at. In my case, it's in UE4 projects, DA_mod making. And your cooked content will be here in saved, cooked, Windows, TA mod making. And this is where it's stored. You can see this is the same like root like location that we have and everything. So what we want to take here is these files right here. Content, metadata, and asset registry, or in my case, this, ignore what I said. We want to take these files, basically. And now we're gonna just like select them and copy. And now we go into our folder where we have our testing version of Toaster Arena. And we want to go to the folder that we extracted everything to, like those tools that I was talking at the beginning of the video. And we want to make a folder here. Let's call this my first mod, my _first_mod, and we want to put the contents of the folder here. So whenever you do like a change, whenever you update anything on the map, and you cook everything again, you want to put the files in this folder. that you made. So now that we have the folder, what we want to do is select, and drag right here. And that's gonna start making a pack file. It shouldn't take too long, and usually takes a couple of seconds. See, it says press any key to continue. We press that, and then we are left with a pack file, my_first_mod pack. We want to take that pack file, press Ctrl+C, so we copy it. We want to go back into where we have our game. So Toaster Arena, you see this folder called Toaster_reboot. There should be a folder called mods. This is super important. If normally this folder doesn't exist until you run the game for the first time. So in this case, since we did, we're gonna copy that and just paste the file there. I think another step that we missed might have been with the naming. I'm gonna launch the game quickly, and if it doesn't load the map, then we're missing one step. So we're just gonna launch the game. Just wait until it actually loads. Alright, and we press Shift Escape. We hit No, and that's gonna give us this pause menu. Remote admin, map list, and I think it's not there. Yeah, it doesn't show the actual content. So what we need to do is we need to rename something. So we go back into the folder that has our mod, and we want to put _P at the end. This will tell the game that this is a patch file, and it'll treat it as such. If it's something that adds something new, it'll treat it as that as well. So put this here, we take this, we drag it. Once we dragged it into the thing, we get this file again. Copy, go here, content, mods, go there, delete, and then we launch the game again. If it doesn't run, then we're probably missing something, and then touche. That would be pretty funny. This whole tutorial doesn't work. I'll definitely pause the recording and debug it, and then explain what actually happens. Alright. Mode map. Oh, there it is. Level _ my epic map. It shows in the selection, and once we click on it, it loads with everything. It looks like the shadows are missing for some reason, so that's interesting as well. At least the baked shadows are. The map does load, and it should work with capture the flag, for example. It is quite weird that it doesn't have the baked stuff though. As you can see, we can't climb outside of the windows because we added that blocking volume. And the map should work with capture the flag, if I'm correct. Let me see. Yeah, as you can see, those custom objects that we placed on the map that have a tag actually spawn the flags and everything.
I got it.
And that's how you make a map. I find it interesting that it doesn't load in the shadows though. I think I broke it somehow. I'm gonna check with the other level. Yeah, all the shadows are broken, which is weird. Alright, so I found a solution to why the shadows aren't working in the game. Once you have your files copied, once you have your cooked files from the project, these files right here, once you paste them into the folder, once you paste them here, what you want to do is navigate to your content folder and delete these two files. Basically have global in them. This causes some issues with shaders when it comes to the game. This was added recently with the newer Unreal Engine versions, so it's basically gonna break a lot of stuff. So just delete those files and remake the pack file. Alright, so we take this pack file, we go back and put it on the mouse folder, and then we launch the game again. And let's select CTF for now and our epic map. And as we can see, we have shadows on our map, on our level. Just make sure you delete those files, or else a lot of things can break. Because Unreal is funny when it loads shit. So we have our map shadows. It works pretty well within the world. And that's how you make a map. At least, this is how you make a map without needing an SDK. I know this video is gonna be a bit lengthy, but please bear with me. This is how, step by step, how to do it. And I wish you all luck on future map making, on your future map making journey. See ya.